And now, the general weather around Alaska.
Welcome to Alaska Weather. I'm meteorologist Peter Chan coming to you from the National Weather Service in Alaska region on this Saturday, January 11th, 2025. And there's so much to talk about this evening. We have a series of wet and windy storms that is impacting the state this weekend into next week. There will be areas of moderate to locally heavy rain that could lead to some minor flooding. I'll highlight those areas. High winds, though, we're looking at some wind gusts that could be upwards of 80 to near 100 miles an hour in some locations. There are high wind warnings in effect that I'll be speaking of. And with this push and surge of warm, moist air, there's going to be potential for record temperatures, some of that being enhanced by downslope flow, especially along the north side of the Alaska Range. And then further west, impactful winter weather along areas of the west coast into the western mainland as we go through the day Sunday and into Monday morning. So a quick check of a few of the FAA webcams of some of the airports across the state. White Mountain there between Nome and Golovin is under a winter storm warning. Some snow, light snow at least as of mid-afternoon Saturday, and some fog, 32. This area could pick up 6-10 inches of snow through early Monday morning. Grayling, as you get up above Anvik and approaching the middle Yukon Valley. Increasing clouds, 28 degrees this afternoon, but there is a winter storm warning for this location, maybe as much as 8 to 12 inches of snow through early Monday morning. And then as we get into areas of south central and up into the interior, Isabel Pass under a high wind warning. Overcast skies, 37 degrees. There could be some southeast to southerly wind gusts upwards of 80 miles an hour there along the ridge lines through the passes. And then Anchorage also under the gun. The strong front that's going to be coming northward this Saturday night is going to have turn-again arm winds that could gust as high as 80 to 100 miles an hour along the higher ridge lines here of the Chugach. Eastern Anchorage, eastern upper hillside has the potential for those strongest winds. But as of this afternoon, 36 degrees Anchorage. Temperatures later tonight and on Sunday morning are going to be jumping up into the 40s. So here is the state map showing where the watches, warnings, advisories are. I'm going to zoom in and try to break things out because there's a lot to talk about. So here, first, let's start with areas of the north and west. The Alaska Range high wind warning. We have a front that's going to continue to lift northward on Sunday, and so very strong southeast to south winds will be flowing here over the Alaska Range. On the downslope side, Fairbanks has a wind advisory. Winds there could gust as high as 40, 50 miles an hour on Sunday. Chinook winds could push temperatures well into the 40s. I would say 45 to near 50 degrees. Fairbanks, especially on up here through the upper Tanana Valley. And then the hills north of Fairbanks, White Mountains on up through Gobbler's Knob, Lower Dalton Highway. Winter weather advisory for strong winds, blowing snow. Not a lot of snow, maybe an inch or so, but it's going to blow around. And then as you get up here, Anatuvik Pass, Adigan passes, could see blowing snow with some light accumulations of snow there. Along the northwest Arctic coast, especially Utqiagvik down through Point Hope, strong east-northeast winds will cause blowing snow. There'll be some light snow, not anything particularly heavy, but the blowing snow could reduce visibility at times below a half mile, and that would be into Monday morning. Down here, though, this is a kind of, this low pressure is going to be coming up. Right now, it's crossing the eastern Aleutians this Saturday afternoon, early evening. It's going to be located, the second low is going to be located just west of Nome by mid-morning on Monday. So it's going to just reinvigorate the lighter snow that's already falling in this area. Winter storm warnings for the Seward Peninsula, Nome, Golovin, above that area, White Mountain, much as 6 to 10 inches of snow there. And this area here in the middle Yukon, especially from Anvik on up through Grayling, Galena, we could be looking at on the order of 6 to 12 inches of snow through early Monday morning. And then surrounding areas, the lower Yukon basin, the delta there, on up around Norton Sound, west side of the Seward Peninsula, northern parts of the Seward Peninsula, Shishmaref around Kotzebue Sound. Lighter snow amounts, but still strong winds, blowing snow, so a winter weather advisory there. And there's a winter weather advisory for the Copper River Basin. Gulkana, Glen Allen area could pick up at least several inches of snow with some blowing snow. Now, as we go further south, you can see where this winter weather advisory is. What we're watching is a front that's going to be a very strong front lifting north-northeastward this Saturday night through Sunday morning. And as it does so, it's going to produce moderate to heavy rain. This area in yellow, the eastern Kenai, western Prince William Sound, a flood watch, because 3 to 5 inches of rain is coming to places like Whittier and Seward on Sunday on top of what already has fallen. So the runoff from some of these streams could create some minor flooding, especially along poor drainage areas. Then we have high wind warnings. We have a high wind warning here for the Anchorage area, including especially the upper hillside areas toward Girdwood in the upper reaches there of the Chugach. And we also have a high wind warning for the area around Cordova, where winds here could gust as high as 80 miles an hour. Upper hillside Anchorage as high as 80 to 100 miles an hour. Valdez, also an area. There could be avalanche danger in that region as well. But Thompson Pass is under a winter storm warning for heavy snowfall and near blizzard conditions as a result of that. And then one other little note here is that we have a high wind watch for Palmer area. It's not 100% it's going to develop, because with these fronts as they come in, it's very tricky as to how those winds funnel through Turnagain Arm and the mountains, but the potential is there for some high winds as well as far north there as up through the lower portion of the Mat-Su Valley. And then back here in the northern panhandle, winter storm warning for White Pass above Skagway. We're looking between Sunday later afternoon and Monday morning as much as 8 inches of snow and 40-mile-per-hour winds. And as I mentioned, the other issue is with this kind of moisture, snow in the upper elevations of the coastal mountains, and then you have rain in the lower elevations, warmer temperatures coming in with high winds. It sets the stage for a very high avalanche risk as we go through today and likely into Sunday. This is for Turnagain Pass down to Summit Lake, and then the area around Valdez up through Thompson Pass, also very favorable there for very high risk of avalanches there through the rest of this weekend. So looking at the weather map, we had our first low come on in. This low brought in some gustier winds around the Anchorage hillside last night, but what's coming in is this next low, and that's going to be even stronger. When I put it in motion, we've already had the one system initially, the lead system, move on in. This is going to be the stronger system. We have a center of low pressure entering the eastern Aleutians as of this later portion of Saturday afternoon, and that low is going to take a track all the way up along the west coast to be near or just west of Nome by mid-morning on Monday. It's this region, there's a lot of moisture and it's warm air, and you have a very strong low and mid-level wind field that's going to be coming northeastward right up through the western Gulf across Cook Inlet, the the Kenai Peninsula up into south central, and then eventually crossing the Alaska Range. So here's the first low that impacted the areas here yesterday and into tonight, into the day today, Saturday. Here comes the next low. It's down around 955 millibars as it will be crossing here the eastern Aleutians early this Saturday evening. There was the initial low. That's what just brought some lighter snow in parts of the state. And then finally, as we go into late tonight and on Sunday, we're anticipating, this is the main low. We have a low up here in the southeast bearing. It's going to continue northward, and this powerful front will work its way north and eastward. It's got a lot of moisture, a lot of wind. So again, the high wind warning's justified for as this front lifts through areas. It's also bringing moisture in the mid-upper levels of the elevations of the mountains. It can be heavy snow at lower levels and into sea level. It's going to be rain. And as we go into Sunday, that low just brushes the outer Yukon Delta coastline with the occluded front wrapping around and pushing farther north. This is crossing the Alaska Range, producing those high winds, and then the downslope Chinook winds that will cause that downslope warming. This air mass inherently is just going to be milder. We're going to see temperatures jump up into the 40s here, up into Fairbanks. Won't rule out an isolated 50-degree reading or so as you get just the right conditions with some of that downslope. And then Monday, there's another low coming out of the North Pacific up into the Gulf. This low, though similar, not quite as extensive, and the wind field not quite as strong, but it's going to have a lot of moisture, and that moisture is all heading here along the northern Gulf Coast into the Panhandle for later Monday and Tuesday. So the initial front that comes on through, you'll get a little bit from that, but this is the next system that will really impact the northern Gulf Coast into the Panhandle. Then we have the remnant lows of the systems that have lifted northward, residing here out near Cape Point Hope, and with areas of lighter snow continuing. So here are the temperature forecasts. Some of these may not be warm enough, but Sunday morning lows, upper 30s, near 40 degrees, western outer panhandle. Yeah, about 36 Anchorage, but actually temperatures are likely to be steady to rising this later Saturday night and on Sunday morning. We could see temperatures rising into the 40s in the Anchorage Bowl. And look at this. Yes, even 51 degrees forecast there for Nenana, I believe. And so we have these strong Chinook winds on the north side of the Alaska Range. I think temperatures down through here could actually be a few degrees warmer than showing. Readings in the 40s, outer and southern panhandle, 46 or so there at Ketchikan, Klawock, and up through Sitka. Even here along Norton Sound, temperatures are going to be coming upward. It's going to be, if you have some heavier snow, it's going to be a wet snow, and there could even be a little mixed precipitation or rain trying to come on in as we go through Sunday afternoon and night. And then Monday morning, it does cool down in places. There is some colder air that's going to be wrapping in, coming in off the Bering up into the southwest, west interior. Temperatures should still be near or just a tad below freezing in areas of south central, still up around 40 for the western and southern parts of the panhandle. And then on Monday, not as warm as the lows have already kind of run their course and pushed that warmer air northeastward. Nevertheless, even if you're in places like Dawson City, you're going to see warmer temperatures as a result of this air mass coming up north and northeastward in your direction. But temperatures Monday afternoon, instead of nearing 50, will be more like around 40 in areas of the central interior. Still 40s, southern outer panhandle, and you got that next low coming up, so a lot of rain here for the lower elevations. Back toward Anchorage area, we're going to see temperatures still, though, above freezing in the daytime. In the wake of the system, the circulation coming in off the Bering does bring in some chillier air into the lower Yukon Valley with highs there, mainly in the 20s. But it's not over yet for when it comes to the mild weather. We're anticipating January 17th through the 21st, above normal temperatures across much of the mainland, centered on the southwest, especially from the middle Yukon Valley, let's say Galena, Caltag, Ruby, southwestward, and down through Bethel, Dillingham, along the Alaska Peninsula into the eastern central Aleutians. The storm track and the way the lows are going to be coming out may shift more out through this area, which is going to send a warmer, moist push of air northward across, especially the southwest. Meanwhile, there's going to try to be some high pressure redevelop over northwest Canada that could certainly cool down the panhandle there, January 17th through the 21st, and may actually bring a little drier weather to the panhandle here after we get past mid-month. But the area most favorable to see above normal precipitation, it could be above normal snowfall, along with potential for some mixed precipitation, will be here in the west coast, western mainland, especially areas around Kotzebue, Norton Sound, including the Seward Peninsula, down through the lower Yukon Valley. So just keep that in mind as we get a little further along in the new year.